everyone, and welcome to this edition of. Get my headset on. There we go. Welcome to this edition of Just Parlays. And good night, Irene. Last night, Chris King. You may take your bow now, sir.
Well, I mean, like you said, it was a good night. You don't necessarily see things break that way all the time, but I'd like to thank the Edmonton Oilers for poor goaltending in the third period, because giving up a tying goal with 0.8 seconds left is what pushed that game over the total.
Give me the 2 or 3 ones that surprised you out of that 10.
Well, like I said, when I looked at the the Washington Edmonton game, it was 3-2, and there was like 10 seconds left, so I thought that wasn't going to come in. But like I said, then he scored in the final second. I can't figure out what Edmonton was doing, and then the Oilers won in overtime. Other than that, I know we put a couple big numbers up there. I mean, we had Utah State by 14.5. We had Minnesota by 14.5 over the Thunder, and then we had the ever popular Utah minus 17.5 over Portland, where people were like, "Are you on drugs? That's a big line." But I remember on the show yesterday, I said that we got burned the other day when we took Portland getting 15 points, and they got beat by like 40.
Right.
And I turned on the game in the third quarter, and at that point, I think it was 86-43, and I was like, well, okay, I guess that one's over. So then I just had to wait to see what happened with Vancouver Montreal. It was nice to see that they ended up going over the number, and Bruce Boudreau's team getting the win.
That was a big score.
Yeah, 5-3. It was 2-2 going to the third, and I watched it, and I saw it was 4-2 with about 4.5 minutes left, and I was like, this might end up just pushing and not going over. But then, the joys of empty net goals and everything else made it a lot more entertaining.
For sure. Absolutely. Hey, let's, welcome everybody to the Max Wagers Network. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't still read Chris's good work on Whiners and Whiners, because we're still part of Whiners and Whiners too. So it's a big family, and we hope that you enjoy what we're doing, and we're going to have some fun, and we have some great promotions from BetMGM, and we'll be talking about all that in the not too distant future. Okay, so, and by that I mean in about 7 minutes. So
I thought you were saying about 12 seconds.
No, not that quick, but very soon. So you didn't come here to hear me yammer about that. You came here to see how to win some cash. So here we go. Starting off with Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders and the UTEP Miners.
Yeah, Conference USA is always an interesting tournament when you look at it. Middle Tennessee was playing good basketball. They dropped their last couple thanks to the ever-popular let's lump teams together in pods at the end of the year just to finish out the conference slate, which is always weird. But, hey, that's Conference USA in a nutshell, isn't it? They've got teams all over the freaking place, and, you can't keep track of half of them without a program. This line moved down a little bit. Middle Tennessee was by 3.5. Now they're down. Some books have it at 2.5. Some have it at 3. The UTEP 19-12. Middle Tennessee 22-9 on the year. The Blue Raiders very good on the offensive end of the floor. 104th in scoring offense, 73.9 points a game, 128th in field goal percentage. 41st shooting inside the arc at 54.2%. They knocked out 8.4 triples a night, and this is a strange one, Jim, because both teams shoot well at the free throw line. I mean, we don't usually see that, but they both shoot 76.1% at the line. What is up with that? The difference, though, UTEP struggles on the defense or the offensive end. They're 228th in scoring offense, 235th in field goal percentage at 43.2, 281st in 2-point shooting at 48.1%. They knocked down 7.7 threes a game. They're 78th in 3-point percentage, and like we said, they're good at the charity stripe. Middle Tennessee 5-0-1 against the spread in their last 6 on Thursday. They're 5-1 in their last 6 against teams with a winning record. Just taking a look here, something. As I pull it up. Yep, okay. They're 12-3-1 against the spread in their last 16 as a favorite. UTEP 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 neutral site games as an underdog. 1-4 in their last 5 neutral site games overall. In the regular season, we saw these teams meet only once, with Middle Tennessee rolling to a 77-59 win at home on February 21st. UTEP will hang around. But the great thing about this is with two teams that shoot free throws well is if Middle Tennessee holds a lead late, they're not going to leave points on the floor
Mm-hmm.
for UTEP to get back in the game. And I think that's going to be the difference.
Well, and if UTEP does start the fouling brigade, then they'll just be sending them there to score points.
Right, and that's always bad news. UTEP also very bad about sending teams to the line. They're 332nd in free throw attempts per field goal attempt by giving up .382 free throws per field goal attempt this season. So that could bode poorly for Joe Golding's team in this matchup.
Absolutely. All right, so let's go from Middle Tennessee State and UTEP to
good old Colorado State.
It's funny. There's been for some reason we haven't spoken about them for about a week or so, right? It's been a little while.
Yeah, I mean, well, it comes,
a minute.
It comes and goes.
Yeah.
They had some tough games down the stretch. They played their last three games were Wyoming, Utah State, and Boise State. They won all three of them.
Mm-hmm.
So that bodes well for them here because they're playing, Utah State.
There you go.
The Aggies 18-14, 8-10 in the Mountain West. They're just not the same team they were the last couple of years when you saw Sam Merrill running the point and then Nemius Queta in the low block. It's putting a lot of pressure on Justin Bean and Brandon Ashworth and guys to step up. Meanwhile, you're facing a Colorado State team that's 24-4. They were 14-4 in the Mountain West. Nico Medved, I remember when he was here at Furman, or not Furman, Furman. Sorry, the job he did there. It was strange. It was sad when he left. I know the Pelicans missed him, but he's done a great job out there in Fort Collins.
Yep.
And the Rams like to run. They like to score. They're 74th in scoring offense, 75 points a game. They're 13th in field goal percentage at 48.7%. They're 17th in two-point shooting at 56.4%. They knock down 7.9 threes a game, and they shoot well from the perimeter, 36.6%. They're 49th in the country. They also, Jim, are excellent at the charity stripe, 8th in field goal percentage or free throw percentage at 78.8%. That is a huge number as we get into March. Meanwhile, Utah State, they're still a pretty good offensive team, 98th in scoring offense, 19th in field goal percentage. They're even better shooting inside the arc than Colorado State. They're 8th in the nation at 57.2. They're 127th in threes at 8 per game. They're 120th in three-point shooting, and they're 146th in free throws. Still converting almost 75%. But that's a far cry from 78.8.
That's, I'm not good at math, but I know that's
Colorado State is 28-9 against the spread in their last 37 on Thursday. They're 5-2 in their last 7 after a straight-up win. Utah State 0-3-1 against the spread in their last 4 against teams with a winning percentage above 600. 0-3-1 in their last 4 against teams with a winning record, period. Colorado State took both meetings this season. They won 77-72 in Fort Collins on January 12th. And took that 66-55 win at Utah State February 26th. Now, just to use Jim's famous cliche of it's hard to beat the same team 3 times in a season, we're going to see Colorado State buck that trend and get a win here to advance in the Mountain West tournament.
All right. Let's say hi to a pal of ours. She comes on in front of us. She's our lead-in. She brings us all of our audience. Allie Burns. Allie Burns, how are you?
I'm great. And I love that I came in on the Colorado State pick. I took that last night at a -2. I think
that's what I saw last night, too. Of course, it had to move,
Yep. You got to get those lines early. Yeah. My best bet. Well, first of all, hi, guys. Why I wanted to jump in is Chris King was 5-0 on our Total Chaos yesterday. He crushed the Scots.
That's the B team.
Huh?
That's the B team.
Yeah,
I'm staying neutral here.
3-2, and Steen was 2-3, but Chris King was 5-0. He is the reigning Total Chaos champion. So congratulations, Chris. It's not easy to sweep the board. It is not.
Yeah, I thought that Coppin State game was very entertaining at 59-57.
I was the edge of my seat just the whole time. Yeah. But yeah, so I just wanted to stop in and say hi and say congratulations. And I'll see you again next week on Total Chaos. That's why you guys all got to remember to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications so you know when we're going live. And also, I love Boise today. I got him at -5.5 last night. That's my play of the day.
Because you're fading Steve Alford again.
Full-time job. Yesterday, we all had a day off. My play of the day yesterday was Nevada. I posted it on the Woody page late at night. I'm like, we got today's like the day off of our full-time job. But I posted last night and I said, okay, back to work, everybody. Back to work.
Time to go. Hey,
my
Allie,
thing with this,
go ahead.
My thing with this Boise team really is that they've got 4 seniors, and those 4 seniors have been there since 2017. So this is like a team of dudes right now that know the teams in this conference well. They're really concerned about Colorado State. I love this Boise squad today.
What do you think of Wyoming UNLV?
I like UNLV. I'm going to tell you the truth, but I'm going to in-play that and try to get UNLV like around 4 or 5 points. Is what I'm going to try to do there. They are playing at home. You know, a lot of the other teams in these conferences are playing at Madison Square Garden. Speaking of, oh my God, what's happening with Duke right now? 87-79. Okay. Shake that off.
You wouldn't have bet Duke on that because you wouldn't give that many points.
I wouldn't. I don't bet Duke anyway. So it's bad news for me if I bet Duke. But yeah, so I dig UNLV. I'm going to try to in-play and get some more points. Yeah, they are playing at home. They're playing at Thomas and Mack. That's where the Mountain West tournament is every year. So that's an advantage. And Kevin Kruger's first year. I think they're hungry. He wants to show them what he can do. And then I also was kind of leaning Fresno and teasing Fresno and the over. So getting more points with Fresno would put you at about a 10.5. And then teasing it to an over would be over 11, I think 111.5, something like that. So
you're not concerned about how they struggled against San Jose State.
I'm not.
I mean, I know San Diego State's not a great offensive team, but
no, those are also things I haven't bet yet, though. These are things. These are like my leans. I have bet Colorado State -2, and I have bet Boise State -5.5. Those lines have gone up a little, and I'm looking to in-play Colorado and UNLV at plus points and plus money if I could.
Now, regarding Duke, though, do you think the game would have been different had Buddy Boeheim played? Because, I mean, it was only a 9-point game as it was.
I feel like it was actually it was advantageous for Syracuse because they have like this fire in their belly. And another thing I've been saying is like with the Boise Nevada game today, someone was liking Boise first half. But one thing I've kind of picked up on is that the teams that played the first round have their legs under them a little bit better than these guys. So because Syracuse played yesterday, they're a little bit more ready for the court than someone like Duke or like Boise would be. It takes them a minute to warm up.
Yeah, the weird trade-off of that I saw on the West Coast conference is everybody that played the day before lost when they played somebody that was fresh.
Huh. Well, I wasn't watching those, so maybe that was just a difference of conferences then.
It could be because I mean,
just the ones I was watching. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the West Coast. I mean, we pretty much figured who was going to be in the title game out of that, but everybody that played the day before that played a fresh team lost. BYU, San Diego, Portland.
Oh, I love Portland though.
Everybody,
bye BYU. Bye.
Everybody's getting the parting gift. Allie, time for shameless plugs. Talk about your show because it comes on before ours.
Yes,
as we
definitely.
Build this network up. So shameless plug time.
All right. Well, I see a lot of my morning woodies are already in the chat. Marlo, Angie, Cisco, AJ's, and Detroit Lenny, of course.
Yes, Lenny's here.
I know. Lenny's been hard at work, y'all. He has really embraced his new role as a producer and a creative person for all this. Yeah. And he is crushing things. So I'm so proud of Lenny, but he's always helping me run Morning Wood at 1 p.m. Eastern, Monday through every day, 7 days a week. And we just started the buzzer beater contest today. So it's not too late. You don't have to join on the live show. Find the Morning Wood video from today and give me your best college basketball bet under a -150. Drop it into the comments of the YouTube video and you can be in the contest. You'll win $50 and a t-shirt if you make it all the way to the end as the final buzzer beater. You guys can join too. Don't think you can't.
Ooh, look at that. Texas A&M is winning. That's what I
thought.
Go
on, Aggies. All right, guys. I've got basketball to watch.
Take care, Allie.
Thank you so much. I'll see y'all later.
See you soon. Take care. All right.
Well, speaking of games that are over, Jim, the Fordham Rams have moved on in the A10 tournament. They knocked off George Mason.
So Well, there you go. The Fordham Rams, the Bronx Bombers.
And you have to wonder now, because with just about this hasn't updated yet, I don't think, but with about a minute to go, Providence trails Butler 59-58. If the Friars lose, will that move them down a seed line?
This early in the tournament, yeah, probably will.
Too bad, because Ed Cooley's team has played good basketball all year.
Yeah, but I mean, you're only going to drop one. They're only going to drop one slot, so I don't think that specifically hurts them that bad. But what we find out that we had a couple buzzer beaters in the last couple days, so
yeah,
you never know.
This is true.
It could rain anytime, and somebody gets that
anywhere.
There you go. Hey, let's go to the NHL. We got some stuff going on in the association, and now to the NHL. Here we go.
Yep,
Panthers and the Flyers.
Yeah, this game coming to you, of course, from the ever popular empty arena building in Florida. What do they call it now? The FLA Live Arena.
Yeah.
They've changed so many names. I just remember it as the BB&T Center.
Right.
What was it before that?
I just call it Sunrise. That's the city it's in. So.
And they get the Flyers
on the edge of the Everglades. So yeah.
Yeah. So take a right turn at the swamp. Watch out for the alligator, and you'll find the parking lot.
Well, you may actually see a Florida Panther in the parking lot there in that part of Florida. So anyway, Flyers on the road, not good. Flyers at home, not good. So
true. I mean, the Flyers did beat Vegas the other day, but I think Vegas got caught looking ahead to the Jack Eichel return game tonight in Buffalo. Right. That's called foreshadowing. Like Jeffrey said, it should be the FLA Dead Arena instead of the FLA Live Arena. The best team the Panthers have had in years, and nobody shows up. Jim, what do you have to say about that? Is it because, like you said, it's in the middle of nowhere?
No, there's no. Let me get this to people. There are not. Miami is a terrible hockey town. I don't know who considered that was a good idea. And then you take and put the arena, a separate arena from where the Heat plays, and you put them in an arena outside of Miami. So you literally take it away from potentially the 7,000 or 8,000 that would show up per game, and you put them out in the middle of nowhere. People are not going to travel to watch hockey in South Florida. They just don't. Well, I mean, they don't watch baseball, but you have a soccer game. I'll tell you what, if David Beckham's team played out there, that place would be full. So
Jeffrey said he's going to the game tonight. Him and 10 other people.
Well,
be a full house.
Wave to us, Jeffrey. We'll be happy to wave back tomorrow. I'll give you a shout out. So that's all I can tell you. I mean, the lines, all these lines are good. The one line that's most important to me, anyway, on this is that Sergei. Bobrowski,
just call him Bob.
Bobrovsky, yeah. Sergei Bobrovsky. He's good. We've seen him. He's good. So.
Well, and Florida's very good at home. They average better than 4.5 goals a game at home this season.
Right.
Philadelphia averages only 2.16 on the road. And those next couple of lines below that are even worse. The Flyers 3-23 in their last 26 games against the East. They're 5-21 after scoring 2 or less in their last game, which they did. They scored 2 in a 2-1 win over Vegas. Meanwhile, Florida 7-0 in their last 7 when their opponent scored at least 2. Florida 44-10 in their last 54 as a home favorite. It'll be Carter Hart, the mercurial Carter Hart, 11-18-6 with a 288 goals against and a 913 save percentage with 1 shutout going up against Bob tonight. Bob 29-6-3 with a 255 goals against, a 916 save percentage and 2 shutouts. But let's be honest, you could probably put nobody in net for Florida, and with the way they roll offensively at home, they'd probably still be in the game against the Flyers because Philadelphia couldn't hit the broadside of a barn most nights. Jeffrey says it's Florida minus 1.5 and the over for him. I tend to agree. I think Florida should win this one by multiple goals, and probably put up another typical 4 or 5 goal night, leaving the Flyers to not have to do a lot of heavy lifting to push it over the total. Jim, what say you?
I still think I'm going to have to agree with you. Panthers definitely are going to take the Flyers tonight. and they could play it on I-75. It wouldn't matter. They're going to beat them. So the Panthers and the Flyers. So from sunrise, we go to sunset. Now, where do we go from here?
We go to parts unknown. No, that's downtown Newark. No, we're going to go to Buffalo. Remember, we just talked about this moments ago. It's the Jack Eichel revenge game as he comes back to Buffalo after, not being there after being traded earlier this season for a whole bunch of crap. Unfortunately, while those guys have contributed, like Alex Tuck and Peyton Krebs for the Sabres still going nowhere this year. Unfortunately for Tim Earl and everybody who say Sabres for the Cup, not happening. Tim just said Sabres with a question mark. So maybe he's questioning his own thoughts.
Well, you know what? It's sometimes you just say it and you hope it to happen, and there's nothing wrong with hope. We all have to have hope.
True. Vegas 32-22-4. They're 16-9-1 on the road. Buffalo 18-32-8. And strangely, they have the exact same record at home as they do on the road, 9-16-4. That's called symmetry.
Well, they're consistent.
Unfortunately, they don't have that kind of symmetry on the ice.
The wrong kind of symmetry, but yeah.
It was going to be Robin Leonard starting tonight, but it was reported that he was sent back to Vegas to have more medical tests done. So it'll be Laurent Brossoit, 10-6-3 with a 276 goals against and a 900 save percentage with one shutout for Vegas against 85-year-old Craig Anderson. I'm pretty sure I saw him in a game against George Hainsworth back in the 1935 season, but I could be wrong. Anderson looking for his 300th career win tonight. He's 8-8-0 with a 901 save percentage for the Sabres. Vegas 13th in goals for, a 3.12. They're 16th in goals against at 2.9. Buffalo 24th in goals per game at 2.62. 28th in goals against at 3.59. Vegas 8-2 in their last 10 as a road favorite. They're 6-2 in their last 8 on Thursday. They're 52-19 in their last 71 against teams with a losing record. Buffalo 10-47 in their last 57 after a loss by at least 3 goals. They were whipped 6-1 by Florida the other night. They're 5-21 in their last 26 at home after losing by 3 goals. They're 1-6 in their last 7 against the West. They're 0-6 in their last 6 against the Western Conference. Or I guess the Pacific Division. I'm sorry. You have to think that Vegas will take care of business. It doesn't matter who's in goal.
No,
tonight.
It doesn't seem to. That's for sure. But this time of year, you know that some of these teams are going to start revving it up, and Vegas wants to, get set up and get into the playoff situation. So it means a lot more to them, and there's no reason for them to go ahead and lay waste tonight too.
And Sly says, "I hate Vegas, praying for a miracle."
Well, sorry, buddy. We don't have any miracles to give here. We just have
that happened yesterday.
But here's what we do have. Now we're about to get to the NBA, and we have a Caesars. This one is for BetMGM. So use your BetMGM app, place a bet of at least $10 on any NBA game, and you get $200 if your team hits a three-pointer. So just click on the MGM link, which is in our show box below. It'll take you there. You'll get all that information. Remember, you have to be 21 years or older to play, and always bet responsibly. So as we said before, here's the deal. MGM app, bet at least $10 on any NBA game and get $200 if either team hits a three-pointer. Click on the BetMGM link in the show box below. And now, without any further ado, we head to the association for tonight's
exciting two-game slate.
Yeah, the two-game slate, starting with,
Nope, that's my fault. There we go.
There we go.
Starting with the Atlantic Division matchup between the Brooklyn Nets and the Philadelphia 76ers, coming to you from the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, where the 76ers are still trying to figure out how to play basketball there because they've been better on the road this year than at home, which is strange. But speaking of teams that have been better on the road than at home this year, we've got the Nets, who are 20-15 on the road compared to 13-18 at the Barclays Center. So I guess on the plus side for them, they're not playing at home for this one. They'll have Kyrie Irving. They'll have Kevin Durant. Irving, of course, dropped 50 on the Hornets the other night because Charlotte doesn't know how to play defense. So we've talked about numerous times of late because I think they're allergic to it. But the problem is, apparently Ben Simmons will be sitting on the bench. He won't be playing tonight, but it'd be nice for him to share the atmosphere with his team against his old team. Just looking at the injury report, LaMarcus Aldridge is supposedly going to be out for the Nets tonight with a hip impingement. Ben Simmons, of course, remains out. For Philadelphia, the big name missing is Danny Green, if you consider that a big miss. He's out with a finger laceration. But let's face it, the Nets, they're 12th in scoring offense at 111.1. They're 9th in field goal percentage. They're 11th in three-point shooting. Philadelphia is 7th in the league in scoring defense at 106.1. They're 10th in field goal percentage defense. And they shut down teams from the perimeter, holding them to 33.9% shooting out there. Philadelphia is only 19th in scoring offense, but they're improving as things go on now that Harden's starting to fit in there. And they're facing a Brooklyn team that's just 22nd in the league in scoring defense at 112 points per game. They're 14th in field goal percentage defense at 45.5. They're 7th in three-point defense at 34%. Brooklyn 3-11 against the spread in their last 14 against teams with a winning percentage above 600. They're 1-9 against the spread in their last 10 after a straight-up win by double figures. Philadelphia 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 as a favorite, and the Nets 2-5 in their last 7 against Philadelphia. AJ's, I know everybody was talking about Durant's over the other day, and they all got mad because Kyrie Irving scored 50 and Durant had 14. So hopefully it turns out to be a bit more balanced. Tim always riding the Jokic triple-double train. Tim, let me ask you, are you concerned at all about the Nuggets playing in the second game of back-to-back? Because they had a rough game with Sacramento where I thought that they were going to blow the Kings out. And, it went down to the wire. Harden's always a triple-double threat. I'm guessing if you're thinking Harden and Durant are going to get a triple-double, then it's going to be one of those games where it's going to be like 135 to 132 or something like that. Which, wouldn't be a surprise, really. And Tim says he is not concerned about the Nuggets.
There you go. Take it back there, Tim.
But, I mean, somebody's got to score for Denver besides Jokic because he needs help.
There you go. Golden State and Denver.
Yeah, these teams just met on Monday, but in that game, you remember the Warriors left half their team at home.
Right.
So we saw guys like Moses Moody put up 30 points, and everybody's like, well, who the hell is that? Fortunately for
scores 30 points.
Yeah, basically. Fortunately for the Warriors, they'll be back to having Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and those guys back. Otto Porter is not expected to play. He is ill. Of course, Draymond Green still coming back from that back issue. Andre Iguodala dealing with a back issue as well. James Wiseman is apparently down in the G League on assignment, so he could be back sometime soon. Of course, he hasn't played all season. Denver has not submitted their injury report yet because, as we said, they played in Sacramento last night, holding off the Kings late 106-100. The Nuggets are 5-7 with a negative 2.3 point per game scoring differential in the second game of back-to-backs this year. They're 10th in the league in scoring offense at 111.2. They're third in field goal percentage. They're middle of the road in three-point shooting. Golden State 5th in scoring defense at 104.9. Second in field goal percentage defense, and third in three-point defense. You'd have to think that they'll find a way to try and get the ball out of Jokic's hands and make somebody else shoot the damn ball. Aaron Gordon was brutal last night. Monty Morris picked up some of the slack, but Tim, maybe you can chime in on who you think can be a valuable second contributor for the. But who's going to be a contributor for Jokic? I mean, he can't do it all by himself all year long. And, I get that Denver's hot, but, so are the Knicks right now. Nobody wants to talk about how great they are. They've won 3 in a row. Minnesota's won 6 straight, too. It's really tightened up that Northwest division, much to the chagrin of me, because obviously I'm a Utah fan, and I'd rather see Denver and Minnesota go away. Unfortunately, that's yet to happen, but I'm hoping that there's going to be. Is Barton going to play is the question, because every time you look at the injury report, he's marked as questionable or, brain dead or something else.
All right.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be a close game, but I think Golden State having Curry and Thompson back, they only lost by 7 the other night, despite not having half their team. I think they can get the win on the road in this one.
We just got an update here, and here's from our update desk from Michael. Florida huge comeback against Texas A&M. If Texas A&M loses to TCU, do they start talking about firing a coach?
I don't think they're going to fire Chris Bird right away, or Chris Beard. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They just signed him, for crying out loud. You're not going to see them get rid of him after 1 year. They paid a truckload of money, and I think they're probably still paying Shaka Smart on top of it.
Yeah. Of course, if you're Texas, you can afford it. But Texas A&M, I'm sorry, you can afford it. But my guess is, if you sign a coach 1 year, you got to kind of at least hang with him for another year at least to see what's going on there. Before we get to our 2 for the money, let's talk about BetMGM. They've got a brand new promotion that they're running here, and what you do is BetMGM will give you new customers a risk-free bet on your first wager up to $1,000. Now, only new players are eligible, and this bonus must be claimed within 7 days. So once you've established your account, then you make your first deposit of any real money, bet between $10 and $1,000. They will match it, okay? And that's how it works. So the key here is to remember that you must be 21 years of age to participate, and also bet, responsibly. All of the promotions with regard to what was going on with the NBA promotion we talked about earlier, and this promotion is all in our show box below. All the links are there and all the information. So please check that out. And also how to follow us. Now, as we said at the top of the show, that Mr. Chris King had a great night last night. And so here, one of the things that you can do is you can, work with Chris. And as you can see, he's going to send you his best parlay tickets, usually made up of 1, 2, 4, or greater. Not everyone's going to win, but the odds are that Chris is going to keep things fun. And all the information on following Chris yesterday, we talked about it. 10 out of 10 on the on our menu yesterday. He hit them all, and big night in that situation. So by all means, go to the show box, sign up. Remember, Chris is not sending out these things. You have to go to the sign up sheet, which is in the show box below, and we'll take care of you from that standpoint. Okay. All right. So Chris, let's get ready and go 2 for the show. You ready?
Yep.
There he is. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, we just talked about this, but I'm going to go with Philadelphia over the Nets. I just think that, Harden and Embiid and Tobias Harris and Tyrese Maxey and all those guys, they've meshed together well, which is they've played better than I expected. So, I mean, right now it's, ride with the 76ers until the wheels fall off. And I think playing at home, the Nets, they're trying to figure it out. They're still kind of disjointed. I mean, they beat Charlotte the other day, but we've been fading Charlotte most of the year, other than that hot stretch they had at the end of January. So I'm going to take the Sixers here. And we talked about the Panthers. You can't trust the Flyers. I don't know if Tim agrees with me. I know Tim is. Or Tim, is it you that's the hockey one, or is it Nick? Because I'm still trying to learn which one is which. So I apologize if it's Nick that's the hockey snob that Allie said. And those guys will be on, of course, at 5 p.m. with game time decisions. So make sure you keep up with them as well. And then I know that everybody, both the Earls love this, or Tim loves the Sabres. Okay, Nick is the NHL one. Got it. How come he's never here?
He's in class.
I'd love to see you. Oh, that's true. I forgot. It's hard to keep track.
It's everybody wants that. We're all happy he's getting his education. That's good for him.
That's true.
Boise State, the Broncos.
Yeah, Allie talked about him. She said multiple times on our show,
right,
that
fade Steve Alford.
Fading Steve Alford is a full-time job, and I just don't think Nevada has it in the tank to take down Boise State. The Broncos are a good basketball team. Like she said, they're a veteran-laden team. They've got a lot of experience. Mm-hmm. Leon Rice has done a great job. They've won 21 of their last 24 games. And the two teams they lost to in that stretch, two of our favorite teams, Wyoming and Colorado State.
There you go.
Nevada hung tough at Boise last week, losing 73-67. First meeting was 85-70 in Reno. I just think Boise State, even on a neutral floor, can take care of Nevada and take them out of the Mountain West tournament.
Time to go to 4 for the show.
Yeah, look at that. The Ottawa Senators. Good old Ottawa. They're playing the Kraken tonight. Let's face it, I don't trust the Kraken. They're an expansion team. I know they signed Jared McCann to a new 5-year extension, joining the group of illustrious guys that wore a Leafs uniform for about 3 minutes and never played a game. That'll be good for him. Good for him, good for them. It gives them an anchor to build around. Unfortunately, their goaltending is awful. Their defense is brutal, and Ottawa is at home. So, going to fade the Kraken here and take the Sens. I should have put Colorado State in here. I didn't realize I had forgotten them. So you can always swap out Kent State over Miami of Ohio with Colorado State if you want to. Mm-hmm. But Kent State's won 12 in a row down the stretch. I think they'll take care of Miami of Ohio this evening in the MAC tournament. I know you'd rather just gloss over this next one, Jim, because it's your alma mater. But let's face it, South Florida should not have much of a chance against UCF. Sly asking Jim, as the alma mater, as the alumnus of the school, I'll let you answer Sly's question about, do you think South Florida will put up a fight tonight against Johnny Dawkins' squad?
Sure, they'll put up a fight. Whether they win or not, that's another matter. Just for background, South Florida's women's team has a very good chance of winning the AAC tournament and going back to the NCAA tournament, which they did last year. Now, I might put the South Florida women out there against UCF tonight, but UCF isn't that great. Okay, let's just put it out there. So we got two teams on the I-4 corridor here. Neither of one's that good this year, but all right, we'll give it to.
I'm not projecting UCF to go probably any further than this.
They're a 42nd, seed in the NCAA tournament at this point. So.
Well, if they're a 42nd seed, then that probably makes South Florida about a 70.
About 75.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, see, then you were even harsher than I was.
Oh yeah.
There you go, folks. The alumni have spoken. He even thinks that South Florida blows worse than everybody else.
They should be looking for a new coach last year. So
you're still not a Brian Gregory fan.
How can I be? It's impossible.
He's getting paid.
Let's go to Golden State. Enough about this.
Yeah, I think that, like I said, the Nuggets, that line actually, like I said, went down. I should have fixed it. I didn't think about it because it was like 2:30 in the morning.
It's a good enough reason. Yeah.
But I think the Warriors will edge the Nuggets. I think it's going to be a close game. I just think that, the altitude factor will be negated by the fact that Denver's playing the second game of back-to-back. They'll both be sucking wind in the fourth, but Curry and Thompson make up the difference.
Hey, by the way, shout out to Phoenix for being the first team to clinch a NBA playoff berth last night.
Yeah, shout out to Phoenix for freaking blowing out Miami after we said that they were going to lose.
Yep, there you go. We can't win them all. But if you were on this page yesterday, he did win them all.
Yeah, I'm not expecting that to.
It's not going to be an everyday occurrence, but
no. Sometimes we get 6, or we get 7, or we get 8, and I think one time we had 9.
Yeah,
but yesterday was just to rip off a movie
stars
title.
Aligned.
It was the perfect storm, and It's just the way things went. But speaking of a perfect storm, we watched Arizona State completely crumble down the stretch against Stanford yesterday. They were up, 14 or 17 points with 3 minutes to go and lost by 1.
Right.
Guess what? Stanford, now reality sets in. It's called Arizona. Look it up. Mm-hmm. North Texas over Rice. The Mean Green, they're hoping that, they can just win the conference title outright because they don't want to be messing around trying to get an at-large bid.
Mm-mm.
So, I mean, they've got some pretty good metrics when you look at them. North Texas is very stingy on the defensive end of the floor, and they can make teams suffer when it comes to trying to get a decent shot. Grant McCaslin, they were in the tournament last year. They upset Purdue, leading everybody to talk about how Purdue is really Purdue again when it comes to March. Southern Utah, the Thunderbirds, who were involved in one of those weirdest games I saw all season about a month ago. That game where we talked about it, I believe, Jim, because we talked about Northern Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
And they had that game on Valentine's Day where Northern Colorado led by 14 with 2 minutes to go in the first half. They were down 17 with 5:37 to play. They were down 15 with 4:32 to play, and then scored 28 points in the last 4.5 minutes to beat Southern Utah 100-95. Good part for Southern Utah, they're not playing Northern Colorado.
That's a good point.
Yeah. They're playing Portland State, who struggled for more than a half before putting away. Who the heck was it? It was some bad team because I know I told our buddy Matthew to take Portland. Oh, that's right. They beat Idaho State. Right. Idaho State. Unfortunately, Southern Utah is not Idaho State. So Portland State, of course, the alma mater of former St. Louis Cardinals quarterback Neil Lomax, will not advance in the Big Sky tournament. Look for their season to come to an end today. Oh, Michael, I apologize. I didn't know you were a Purdue graduate, so I won't call them Purdue in your presence. My apologies. Let me ask you, as a Purdue graduate, if Purdue has another early exit, will they look to replace Matt Painter? I'll be interested to see what the reply is to that because I know there's a lot of Matt Painter seems to be a divisive name around West Lafayette.
We'll take him in South Florida. If he wants to leave, I'll take Painter.
You would take a box of noodles at South Florida.
No. We have our standards, clearly.
Yeah, clearly, it's beef ramen.
Yeah, that's true.
North Carolina Central, I like -2.5 over Maryland Eastern Shore. I'm not sure how far that is from where you guys are, Jim.
Quite a ways.
Yeah. Is it? Okay.
It's way down south.
And Michael says Painter won't be replaced. We love him. You love him unless it's March. Mm-hmm. Right? Because I know that. Now, here's another question that I think would be interesting. Would Purdue rather have Matt Painter or would they rather have Gene Cady back?
Interesting. Well, we'll let them chime in on that one. Personally, I don't know. I don't know if Gene Cady could coach in this environment. It's a little different than Gene because Gene liked to recruit guys that would stay there for all 4 years, and very disciplinarian guy. I don't know that he'd get away with that this time around.
Well, Michael says that he would take Cady in his prime.
That's a good point. Okay, fair enough. So what do we got? Richmond. Ooh.
Yeah, the Spiders, and Providence did come back to win. They beat Butler 65-61. So
there you go.
Good for them. Wow, Toledo barely got by Central Michigan. That's disheartening if you're a Rockets fan. They're the number 1 seed in the MAC, and they won by 1.
They live to see another day.
Yep. Richmond, they're facing a Rhode Island team. Speaking of teams that struggled yesterday, Rhode Island scuffled to get past Duquesne, 79-77. We've had fun talking about Keith Dampert's team, the Dukes. I thought they were called that because they just keep taking number 2s, but apparently you said that it was for a different reason. But I think Rhode Island's run's going to come to an end here. there's just no reason to trust the Rams. They've been so up and down that I think Richmond's the better team. Ohio State over Penn State. This is based on the fact that I think Ohio State might bounce back after they played so poorly down the stretch. And I just don't have a ton of faith in Penn State's offensive attack. You look at the numbers and, the Nittany Lions, they beat Minnesota yesterday, but they only scored 60 points. They've scored 55, 58, and 60 in their last 3 games. And the game before that, they scored 70, but they lost to Nebraska by 23. And speaking of, our buddy Thomas said take Nebraska plus 5.5 yesterday against Northwestern. They only lost by 3 points, so that was a good cover on his call too.
Yep.
Alabama over Vanderbilt. This is a similar situation. Vanderbilt played yesterday. Granted, they steamrolled Georgia, but we could put together a team from our loyal audience here and put together a team that could beat Georgia because the Bulldogs are awful. Nate Oates' team has to learn to play defense and or stop taking so many bad threes. But I think that they've got enough in the tank to beat Vanderbilt anyway. I'm going to go with Sly's Jets on the road over the Devils. Connor Hellebuyck due for a bounce back against Nico Dawes. I'm going to go with the Wild over the Red Wings. Can't trust Detroit after they just gave up 9 to the Coyotes. That was just galling. I looked at it and it was 6-1 early in the second period. And I was like, well, this game's over. It was bad enough that they swapped goaltenders twice by the time they got to the middle of the second period. Because it said Alex Nedeljkovic starts. Then it said Thomas Greiss is in for Alex Nedeljkovic. And then he gave up a goal and it's like, Alex Nedeljkovic is back in net. I was like, why don't you just go get, Mike Vernon and stick him in the net?
Right, you get whiplash from trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, and finally, I like Nashville at home over Anaheim. We saw the Preds whip San Jose over the weekend, 8-0. Then they came back and beat Dallas 2-1. It's a crowded Western Conference playoff race. Nashville holds the top wild card spot with 68 points. Dallas has the second one with 67 points. Edmonton has 66. Vancouver has 64. Anaheim has 63. Winnipeg has 60. All these games are going to matter majorly down the stretch, but I think Nashville's got the upper hand here playing at home over an Anaheim team that just got waxed by the Blackhawks. Speaking of games that were over early, that game was 5-0 the other night after the opening period. And you could turn the lights out in the United Center, and Chicago could have just skated in the dark and won that game because Anaheim looked completely overmatched. And this is by a team in the Blackhawks that are nowhere near the playoff picture.
Right. Well, let's talk here real quick before we take some final questions. That we want everybody to watch the entire Max Wagers team. We're on for 6 hours starting midday money with Sean Higgs. Morning Wood with our buddy Allie Burns, who just popped in to say hi. She's on from 1 to 2. Then it's us, Just Parlays with Chris King from 2 to 3. Then coming at 3 o'clock is our buddy Scott and Scott back to the window. And then Game Time Decisions with Nick, Tim, and Lenny at 5. Okay, so we've got your entire day planned out for you. So hang out with us. We're nice people, and we're fun to talk to. So any final questions you see there, Professor?
Not that I saw yet. I'm just looking at the scores here. Texas A&M has knocked Florida off 83-80 in overtime. So the Aggies is a 2.5-point underdog, win outright, much like we saw yesterday with Missouri in the opening round when they dumped Ole Miss. And TCU knocks off Texas 65-60, another upset win as the Horned Frogs were a 5.5-point underdog. You have to think that will help Jamie Dixon's team, his resume going towards March Madness. Elsewhere in the Big Ten, Iowa getting just trucking Northwestern. It's 47-26 with under 5 to go in the first half. Northwestern, I guess they figured they won a game, so
time to rest.
Yeah, they're good to go now. They're happy.
All right. Well, any final thoughts before we get out of here on a lovely Thursday afternoon.
A lot of good games today. A lot of good games. Watch out for the MAC. Watch out for, both MACs, because let's not forget, Jim, Rick Pitino was upset yesterday, and you have to wonder, is that it for Iona as far as an NCAA tournament bid?
No, they'll get in on Rick's name.
I mean, you look at their track record. They're 25-7. They do own a win over Alabama on a neutral floor. They did beat Harvard. They beat Liberty. But I mean, is 25-7 and 17-3 in the MAC going to get you in when you just lost in the first round against a Rider team that's now 14-18?
I'll let you in on something with regard to how these people get chosen. The name Pitino will get him in. It's like getting into a good restaurant. You're Rick Pitino. You're in Brooklyn. You want to get an Italian restaurant. All you have to do is say Pitino. He'll get in. So sometimes it has to do with, the reputation of the coach. And sometimes it has to do with, how the team had done in the past. He was there last year. I imagine that he may be in one of those play-in games, but I think Iona's going to go in.
Well, James, while it's true that some of the favorites don't want to win, you also have to take into consideration Stanford had to burn themselves out just to get here after beating Arizona State. We saw this in the West Coast Conference tournament. If a team played the day before, like we talked about, you had San Diego beat Pepperdine, and you had I was trying to go through the bracket in my head because I did the whole stupid tournament, so the games kind of run together. But you had San Diego beat Pepperdine in the first round. You had let's see here, where'd it go? I've got so many tabs open with stuff, it's not even funny. Yeah, there we go. So you had San Diego beat Pepperdine, which was everybody expected because Pepperdine was terrible. You had Loyola Marymount beat Pacific. So those two teams won in the first round. They went to the second round. LMU got waxed by BYU by 25. Portland beat San Diego by 18. So both those teams that had played the day before and won lost the next day. Now, BYU had to go into the quarterfinals and play San Francisco. We know they lost. Portland had to go to play Santa Clara in the quarterfinals. They lost. So, again, you had the team that played the day before lost to the fresher team. Same thing, nobody played Sunday. So on Monday, San Francisco had to face Gonzaga, who, hadn't played yet, and they lost. Same thing with Santa Clara. They faced St. Mary's. They lost. Now, Stanford, like I said, they had to, rally in the last 3 minutes to erase a double-digit deficit. I don't know if they're going to have anything left against Arizona. And I think Tommy Lloyd's going to have that team motivated because he's going to look and he's going to say, look what happened when Arizona State thought they had the game won after 37 minutes. Arizona's still playing for a 1 seed.
Yeah, they want to be in that one line. And,
so I don't think they're gonna underestimate anybody. Now Arizona State, I can see that because Arizona State is, they were a flaky team all year. I still thought they were going to win. I thought they were in good shape until the end.
Until they weren't.
Yeah, basically, yeah, they were in it until they weren't.
Right.
So
there you go.
Yeah, Coppin State was a good one yesterday. That was a low-scoring game. And Sly said, "Don't underestimate the menu." He said he got $650 off it last night.
Well, there you go. Well done, you Sly. All right, boys and girls, we got to get out of here to make room for Scott and Scott. And a lot of good stuff in the show box below. We talked about Chris hitting all those parlays yesterday. You can get all of the information sent to your email box by just checking out our show box below and clicking on the link, and it'll take you through to it. We've got all those great promotions from our friends at BetMGM. All that information is in there as well. And we hope that you join us tomorrow, same time, 2 o'clock Eastern, right here on the Max Wagers Sports Betting Network. I'm Jim Williams for my buddy Chris King. We will see you come tomorrow. Take care.